The church was packed. Black veils, black suits, black lies. St. Augustine's smelled of lilies and old money. The casket, polished mahogany, silver handles, worth more than most people's houses, rested on the catafalque beneath the stained glass window of the resurrection. Ironically fitting. Everyone was crying. Some real tears, most performative. My son Adrian stood at the front in a tailor-made Tom Ford suit, one hand on his pregnant wife Chloe's lower back, the other dabbing his eyes with a monogrammed handkerchief. Chloe's veil was dramatic, her baby bump perfectly positioned for sympathy photos. They had timed the pregnancy announcement perfectly, 3 days after the doctor declared me terminal. They thought I was inside that box. The priest's voice rose in the final commendation. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. The organ began the recessional hymn. Slow, mournful, perfect. Then the lid of the casket moved. Just an inch at first. A soft creak no one noticed over the music. Then another inch. A collective gasp rippled through the pews as the lid lifted fully and I, Evelyn Rose Harrington, age 71, sat up in a crimson silk gown, pearls gleaming, hair and makeup better than they had been in 20 years. Dead silence. I smiled the way I used to smile in boardrooms when I was about to buy a company for half its worth. Surprise, darlings. Adrian went the color of spoiled milk. Chloe actually screamed and clutched her fake belly, because of course it was fake. I'd had her medical records for months. I swung my legs over the side like I was stepping out of a bathtub, not a coffin, and stood. My heels clicked once on the marble. Evelyn, someone whispered from the third row. No, I said sweetly, the old witch you buried is right here. Very much alive. I reached into the casket, people recoiled as if I were Lazarus with bad intentions, and pulled out a small velvet bag. Inside was a remote. I pressed the button. The massive screen behind the altar, meant for hymn lyrics, flickered to life. First slide, Chloe at a fertility clinic in New Jersey paying cash for a silicone bump. Timestamp, 6 weeks ago. Second slide, Adrian wiring $2 million to an offshore account titled Post-Mom Fund. Third slide, a 47-second voice memo from Chloe, recorded 2 nights before my death. Chloe's voice, crystal clear through the church speakers. Once the toxicology report says natural causes, the will is ironclad. Adrian gets everything. We sell the Hamptons house, the vineyard, the penthouse. 6 months tops and we're on a yacht that isn't named after his mother. And Evelyn? Cremated. No autopsy. I've already paid the funeral director. The congregation was statue still. Someone dropped a rosary. It sounded like gunfire. Adrian tried to bolt. 2 off-duty state troopers, friends of my late husband, blocked the center aisle. I walked slowly down the steps from the altar, the train of my gown trailing like spilled blood. You know what the funniest part is? I asked the room. I actually was dying. Stage 4 pancreatic. 6 months, maybe less. And I was going to leave you everything anyway. Because that's what mothers do. I stopped in front of them. But then I found the arsenic in my tea. Chloe started sobbing, ugly, wet, ruined mascara sobs. It wasn't like that. It was exactly like that, I said gently. You just didn't count on me switching the cups when you weren't looking. I turned to the stunned crowd. Last week I signed a new will. Everything, the company, the trusts, the art, the vineyard, goes to the Harrington Foundation for Abused Elders. Adrian and Chloe get precisely what they gave me, nothing. Adrian dropped his knees right there on the marble. Mom, please. Don't, I said, voice like winter. You lost the right to call me that when you started measuring my life in months to inheritance. I looked at Chloe's fake belly. Take that thing off in the next 30 seconds, or I'll have security do it for you. It's insulting the real mothers in this room. She ripped the Velcro. The bump hit the floor with a hollow thud. I faced the congregation again. Thank you all for coming to my funeral. I'm told the flowers were lovely. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a reservation at Le Bernardin and a new lease on life. Literally. I walked down the aisle. People parted like the Red Sea. No one dared touch me, speak to me, even look at me for too long. At the back of the church, my driver held the door of the Bentley. Before I slid in, I paused and called over my shoulder. Oh, and Adrian? The police are waiting outside. Attempted murder carries 25 to life these days. Plenty of time to think about what a disappointment you turned out to be. The doors closed. The car pulled away. In the rearview mirror, I watched my son screaming on the church steps as handcuffs clicked shut, Chloe collapsing in a puddle of lace and lies. I rolled down the window, let the October air hit my face, and laughed for the first time in years. Death had tried to take me. I simply refused to go. And somewhere over the Atlantic, on my way to a villa in Tuscany that now belonged to me and me alone, I toasted the empty seat beside me with a glass of 1982 Chateau Margaux. To second lives, I said. May they be long, expensive, and completely, gloriously mine.